Fellow Kenyans, Steve Mbogo here. Now, sometimes last year I mentioned about the New World Order agenda, or rather the globalist agenda that is being implemented across the world. And specifically, I'll speak about Kenya because it seems and it looks like Kenya is the pilot country for this implementation in the entire Africa. I mentioned clearly and I stated that one of the policies that will ensure a success to this is what we call open border policy, or rather what we call creation of liberal states. And we are seeing these implementations being done in Kenya at a very alarming speed. We saw several factors. For example, when the World Bank was to give us some money, or rather give us a loan, one of the World Bank's conditions before they loaned Kenya money, they forcefully made us integrate the refugees from the Dadaab camp into the local community. In the city of Nairobi, out of 10 hawkers who are hawking stuff within our streets, 7 to 8 are foreigners. And the issue is, it is not bad to have these foreigners in our country, but does the Kenyan system know the individuals that are parading or moving around and working in this country illegally? Do we have enough security measures to understand the histories of these people? Do we know exactly if these people, again, are remitting taxes to the taxman in this country? So those are the few questions we are asking. Now, today, this issue has gone a notch higher. Just last week, the president announced that there will be cancellation of what we call the ID vetting process in the northern Kenyan region. But the thing is, we as Kenyans, we need to ask ourselves a simple question. Why was the vetting process necessary in northern Kenya? You and I know very well that our neighboring country, Somalia, has been a country affected by wars for the last 30, 40 years. And the vetting process was created as a preventive measure to ensure that anyone who is coming into who is going to be given a Kenyan ID is indeed a rightful Kenyan citizen by birth. And that was a preventive measure to ensure that those dissidents, the dissidents of war, or rather even the terror groups, are not in a position to come in, integrate into the Kenyan Somali in the northern part and get identifications. And that was done basically for a security purpose. I speak as a Kenyan who understands the laws of this country. And I want to tell this government that it is the right of any Kenyan Somali to get his identification and have all the papers in place. But we cannot allow immigrants to be brought into the country, being registered as Kenyans, just for the political factor. And Mr. President, I want to speak to you as a patriot of this country. For those individuals who are advising you to implement such policies in the name of those people who will be registered, will vote for you come 2027, I want to tell you that they are lying to you. They are going to use you, misuse you, and abuse you. I want you to reflect the recent concluded elections of the United States of America. The Democrats' candidate, Kamala Harris, lost the elections just because of one factor. And that factor was the open border policy, or rather the infiltration of immigrants into the United States. That factor created one common enemy, and the entire United States of America voted against that one policy. And Mr. President, I want to guarantee you that is the same thing that will happen here if you don't handle this issue with keen. Most of those individuals, specifically from the Somali community, who are pushing this agenda, and we can see through their sentiments. Remember, those are people who have dreams and ambitions in this country. We know very well they have ambitions to take over power in this country in the near future. We don't dispute that. It is the right of any Kenyan to be a leader in this country. But don't divide Kenyans, don't divide or destroy this country for your own selfish gains. Just recently, we had the Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Honorable Duale, speak of tyranny of numbers, where he was telling us we are going to compete by numbers in the next 10 years and we will see the streets filled with Somalis. I want to tell him that the race is not against individuals, Mr. Duale. The race should be against time. We should think as Kenyans and see how to build our populations as a country to ensure that our country succeed. But don't talk about population because you want to fight a certain community or a certain group of Kenyans. Yesterday, we had the Member of Parliament of Dadaab speak of even threats, where he mentioned that anyone who threatens the Somali community and anyone who wants to watch the destruction of Kenya should bring it on. So I wonder where these sentiments being lamented by these leaders are coming from. We have to speak as is. Now, many Kenyans, specifically the Kenyan Somalis, are the ones who are more worried than even us. We speak, we are the people on the ground. And the Kenyan Somalis are asking us a simple question. And they're asking us, why are you guys allowing chaos to be imported in our country while we watch? So we want to tell those leaders who are power hungry. And I want to talk to leaders also who are in our cabinet, in our cabinet, leaders who are in our parliaments, leaders who are the senators, the governors. It is time we have to speak about these issues. Most of you, I've spoken to a number of leaders in this country, and most of them are just speaking of one thing. Most of them are saying they're scared to speak about this topic, this issue, because we have so many senior Somali citizens in the Kenya Kwanza government. They've taken over the security sector, they've taken over high dockets in government, and we are scared to speak about it. So what? This is a matter of protecting the sovereignty of our country, and we have to speak. Remember, no one is a higher Kenyan than the other. There are also Kenyans than us, regardless of the positions they hold today. Power is transient, and that's something we have to know. But let us not subject our country into total chaos in the near future just because we are power hungry, just because we are looking at the political factor or the numbers that people are promising to bring to us through this illegal or rather undulified registration of immigrants in this country. Majamaa, tuongee before it's too late. Watu wanajipanga na tusipojipanga tutapangwa.
But I can tell you, in the next 10 years, through the streets of Nairobi and streets of Garissa and Wajir and Mandera, you will see you cannot stop the tyranny of numbers. You can play with the numbers, but you cannot stop physical human beings walking in your streets.
Cannot be threatened. Nobody is going to threaten us. I'll tell you that for sure. You can have it for free. If anybody wants to destroy Kenya, good luck. Bring it on. We will see where you go with it.